Okay, so this is the series 2 in the Sacred Path School podcast, and joined today by my very good friend Peter Bowden, also known as Wombly Matu, and affectionately known as Growling Bear. And so we're going to start. So we're going to start by Peter's going to open space for us. So go ahead, Peter.
So we're just going to light some sage.
And I'm going to light some sage as well.
Yes, we're lighting sage together.
Yep.
So remember, fire for the east, the shell for the south, the sage is grown in the earth for the west, and the feather for the north. A whole creator, great spirit, Zah, your grandson, Womli Matu. And I send a voice now as we offer the smoke to our highest and to our divine. We offer this smoke with so much gratitude. As we offer the smoke to Mama Earth, Mama Gaia. We offer the smoke to Father Sky and to all that dwell in the Sky Nation. We offer the smoke to the grandmothers and grandfathers of the East, to the South, to the West, and to the North. Tankeshla grandmother, Tankeshla grandfather. Here we welcome these grandmothers and grandfathers. Here we acknowledge the ancestors and the allies. And here we acknowledge each other as brothers as we share in this space, heart to heart, knowing that what we share and what we speak together as brothers, and we speak from our divine as we share with all that listen. From my heart to your heart, to the hearts of all beings. Ahom Matekwiasan.
Ahom Matekwiasan. And maybe, so I know lots of people watching this will know what it means to smudge, but maybe let's just start by just explaining what you just did and why you did it. Because it's really important, isn't it? It's really like a lot of people doing like, medicine type practices these days, but it's so important to create safe space.
And that's the thing. When we're smudging, we're opening up a sacred space, and we're opening up a container of that space. So when we smudge, we're not only cleansing the area, we're also opening up and creating a portal so that we can be contained in this space where we've asked the ancestors or honored their ancestors, and we've asked them to be with us from each of the directions. And then as we journey in this space, we know that we're journeying in this container, and at the end of it, we'll close the container. And smudging is probably one of the most profound rituals or ceremonies that we can do in anything that we do.
And it's really, it goes back to the set and setting question, doesn't it? Which is talked about a lot in lots of different ceremonial type work, how important set and setting and intention is. And there's different things that you can burn as well, isn't there? So we've just burnt white sage or grandfather sage, which is really American Indian teachings.
Yes.
But also it is very aligned to Palo Santo, which actually I have some here, but a little bit here. Trying a little bit of Palo Santo here, which is more of a South American thing. And as you know, in Africa, we burn in Pepu. For the same thing, and Australian Aborigines would do like a smoking ceremony for the same thing, and essentially we are cleansing the space of any sort of bad juju, really, aren't we? And as you say, creating like a safe space for us to come together. So it's really important.
Can I just add a couple of things there?
Yeah.
So with Indigenous Australia, we use eucalypt leaves. So green eucalypt leaves for the smoking ceremony. And I don't believe that there's bad or good. It just is. So it just is in this space, but we honor this space. So we cleanse in this space. And it's not about releasing any bad juju, but it's acknowledging the space for what it is and what is created in this sacred space. Yeah.
And if you don't have like sage or something to burn, what else can you do to create safe space?
You can use water. You can have water around, light a candle, light some incense. You can offer a prayer. Just speaking your voice, you can create safe space. But always remember, when you create the safe space, you want to close it at the end whenever you're finished. Okay? Because a lot of people I know leave space open. They walk away from ceremony without going, hey, you know, let's thank the ancestors for being here. Let's thank ourselves for being here, and let's thank what we've done in this space.
Why is
So,
it important to close space?
well, if we don't close space, we leave that space open. And that space could stay open for days. We don't know what's going to happen to us in that space. So whoever's holding the ceremony or initiating the ceremony, remember to close sacred space. We finish it, we end it.
Yep.
Everything has a beginning, everything has an end.
So complete the
So
circle. So
complete the circle.
like the
Yeah,
medicine, as you see in the background, I've got a medicine wheel. Same
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Can I just add a couple more things for
Yeah.
burning? Um, so when we burn, we say in my teachings, east we burn tobacco or kinnick, and kinnick, which is 5 different herbs, or tobacco is its own, and we say tobacco um, honors spirit. We make our offerings with tobacco. So in South America, you have mapacho. In North America, you have uh, tobacco or knick, and knick is yerba santa, herba ursu, red willow bark, um, sage, and cedar leaf. Okay. Now, also, when we start with knick, in the east, we move to the south and we have um, sage in the south of the medicine wheel. In the west, we have the cedar leaf, and in the north, we have the sweetgrass. So you can use all 4 of those to create sacred smoke as well.
Very good.
Yeah.
So and we should just also, I suppose, just add. So the aim of this series in the podcast is really to talk about how do you walk a sacred path in life, and I suppose just to give like a little bit of background with you. So we've known each other for a little bit over 20 years and
Yes.
done lots of different ceremonies and things together. Can you just tell me where, like for the benefit of the people watching, what what is it that actually drew you to shamanic type practices in the first place? Like what happened? Because you were at one stage a swimming school teacher, a swimming school instructor.
Yeah. But I met my traditional teachers, or some of my teachers before, well, even before I started teaching swimming. So I met some Lakota elders and I did a 3-month tour when I was 19. That was an interesting time. They invited me, first of all, to sit in a medicine wheel teaching for one day. Then they invited
Where
me
can I?
to,
Sorry, can I just interrupt? Sorry to interrupt you. Um, what was it that drew you to that, and where did you go?
they invited me. They
You
invited
met
me,
them?
and that was because, and there's a long story to that, but I got this vision or this thing that I had to go to this expo in Brisbane. And this friend of mine that went to spend time with Native American people saw me there because I knew I had to meet someone there. And it was her, and she was there with 3 other Native American elders. And they invited me to go to their teachings. They were here for 3 months doing teachings in Australia. So I went out to Toowoomba and I did 3 days initially. And we did teaching about the mess wheel on the first day. The second day was drum making. I made my first ever drum in a different style that I learnt, that I teach or have taught over the last 40 years. And then and then we did a sweat lodge. And that sweat lodge was my first ever sweat lodge. And I kicked and screamed all the way through it. I didn't want to be in it. And after that, we kind of went our own way for a few weeks. And one of the elders had to go back to America. So they invited me to go on the 3-month tour to replace the third elder. And I don't know why they invited me, but they invited me to come. So we started in Brisbane and went all the way down to Melbourne doing teachings, medicine wheel, sweat lodges, drum making, all that sort of thing. And that was when I was about 19.
Wow.
And then after that, I met Grey Wolf a few years later, a couple of years later. Grey Wolf was the man who taught me about the drum, taught me how to string the drum in the way that in the way of the sacred hoop, in the way that I teach now. And he was a Inupiat man, which is an Eskimo man. And I caught up with Grey Wolf twice while he was in Australia. He came once for 10 days, and I did stuff with him for 10 days and pulled me aside and we did the drum. Then he came back 6 months later. And so the first time he taught me how to make the drum, the second time he taught me what the meaning of the drum, each string in the drum has a meaning. So he taught me about the drum.
What was
And
the
then
what was the attraction to the teachings though? Like why? Because obviously that's a big thing. You put your life on hold and go off for 3 months. What was it where
yeah,
you went far out? I really want to do this.
uh I don't know, I just felt attracted to the people. I felt attracted to what they were sharing, and I felt like I knew it. It felt like something that I belonged to,
Mm,
and my younger years in my life were quite hard, and I was always looking to, not wanting to belong to something, but seeking something more that I wanted to belong to because I didn't have a close relationship with my family in my
yeah.
younger years. Yeah. So so that attracted me. And a few years later, after I met Grey Wolf, I ended up with getting married, and my wife and I ended up doing a trip to Canada. She said, "Come on, let's go find you a teacher." And we tramped
Right.
around Canada, especially the western side of Canada. Um, oh, my phone's ringing.
Tell them you're in a call.
I can't turn it off.
Just leave it. It's
Okay.
okay. I can't hear it. Yeah.
Okay.
So you went
Um,
to so by that stage you learned how to make the drum, and you'd done some sweat lodges and learned a bit of the
yeah,
teachings,
yeah.
and then your wife says let's go to Canada and find another teacher. So what did you do? You just flew to Canada.
We flew to Canada, ended up in Vancouver. Um, then we started we were backpacking basically.
Oh,
We were tramping around Canada, trying to see if we could find a Native American elder, and I ended up meeting Uncle Pat, and he said, "No, there's another man that you want to go with." And he said, Uncle Pat was a Cree man. No, yeah, he was Cree, and he said, "Oh, you want to go with Uncle Joe Silverwolf?" We ended up meeting him and his family, and he became my teacher for the next 12 years. We'd go back 3 to 4 months a year for the next 12 years.
what did you So you find Uncle Joe, right?
Yeah.
And what? Tell me what happens. Describe what happens. You go to this guy and say, "Can you teach me?"
Okay. Well, what happened was Uncle Joe's people were around Lake Louisa. They had a horse stable there, or horse stud. His people did. But I went there and they said, "Oh no, Uncle Joe's visiting family up in Yellowknife." which is way up the other side of the mountains, right up in the snow. So we decided to hitch and walk all the way up there. And we walked up this dirt road and it was slightly snowing. And we got to a gate and there's a young boy of about 12 on the gate. And we said, oh, we're looking for a teacher to teach us, a Native American elder to teach us. And the boy says, grandfather's not teaching anymore. And just as the young boy said this, this old man appeared, or well, this dog appeared first. And we later on found out that it was a wolf, but it was on a chain. And this old man was holding the chain behind the wolf, And he comes out and the young boy says, oh, grandfather, these people are looking for a teacher, and I've told them that you're not teaching anymore. And he looks at us, and the first thing that came out of his mouth was, oh, you're from Australia, aren't you? And Leanne and I looked at each other and we went, yeah. And then he said, oh, yeah, I've been waiting for you to be my last teacher, my last students.
Wow.
And we became, well, Leanne learnt more from Uncle Joe's wife, and I spent more time with him and his sons.
What year would
Yeah.
that have been?
Oh, well, I would have been about 25. I don't know. So
So
I'm nearly 20. So what would it be?
mid-80s?
It was mid-80s, yeah.
So obviously no internet,
No internet,
mobile phones, so you're
no
in the middle of
mobile
nowhere.
phones, nothing. We
Yeah.
just went walking and
Yeah.
we jumped on a plane and off we went. And that's how it happened.
So you get
And
there
we
and he
get
says to the
there
teacher,
and
so then what happens?
okay, well, he had a spare little cabin there. So he offered us to go into the cabin and Leanne and I went there into the cabin for the next couple of days. And we didn't see anyone. We didn't know what to do, and they would bring us over some food and stuff and feed us, and then he comes out probably 3 or 4 days later and he says, oh, we're going to ceremony now. And the first ceremony we ever did was, I remember it like yesterday. It was he drove out in the ute and he had Leanne sit in the front and me and his son were in the back of the ute and it's snowing. So we're in the back of the ute and it's not snowing hard, but it's snowing. And then he says, I've got to go into Yellowknife and pick up a couple other people. So we drive into Yellowknife and going down the road and he sees these two Asian girls standing to the side of the road. And he pulls up beside them and says, oh, do you want to come to ceremony? And they didn't know what to say, so they just said, yeah. And they got in beside Leanne in the cabin of the ute. And then we drive down a little bit further and he sees this African, I assume African American native, indigenous dark man, Negro man. And he yells out to this guy, do you want to come to ceremony? And the guy goes, yeah, sure. And he jumps in the back with us. Right. So then we drive for about 20 minutes out into the mountains. And he says, okay, everybody out. We're going to do ceremony now. And the first thing, well, standing there, and then he goes to the Asian girls. He says, come over here. You're going to stand in the east. And he says, the Asian people, we've got to honor the Asian people because they bring medicine to the world. Okay, Asian people, we honor that. Then he gets his son and says, okay, we honor the red race now, and we acknowledge them, and he puts them in the south. And he says, we acknowledge the red race now because they bring the connection to the land. Then he grabs this African or Negro man and he takes him over to the west and he says, we honor the black people, the black race, and the black race bring music and song to the land. And then he comes back and he looks at me and he shakes his head. The white race. Yeah. And then he takes me over to the north and he says, we honor the white race because they bring invention to the land. And so we're standing there and he goes over to my wife and he says, okay, come for a walk with me. And he wanders off for about 20 minutes with my wife, Leanne. And off he goes. And comes back. And in that time that he's gone, I'm gone, well, okay, we're all standing here, just twiddling our thumbs, looking at each other. So I've gone, stuff this, I'm just going to go sit in the middle of the circle. And so the others came and sat with me as well. And we were all just sitting there talking, getting to know each other and asking where we're from and that kind of thing. And he comes back with Leanne and he says, I see you've worked it out. And all four races come together in the center of the circle um, as equals, as one. And that was the first ceremony that he ever shared with me. No smudging, no sharing, no creating sacred space. And then he throws us back in the ute and drives back down to Yellowknife and drops everybody off and takes us back to where we're staying at his place. And that was the first ceremony. Didn't hear him for 2 days, hear from him for 2 days after that. And then he came and got me and said, well, Leanne, you're going to go in with my wife and I'm taking you to lodge. We're going to do a lodge.
Sweat
I'm going,
lodge.
I have no idea what that is. Well, I do. I do know what lodge is, but I have no idea what we're going to be doing with the lodge, you know? And that was my first ever sweat lodge with him. Yeah.
And what did you do?
Chop wood, carry water,
Yeah.
prepared everything for lodge, put the blankets on the lodge, you know. He had already had a lodge built. But yeah, we lit the fire, honored the ancestors. Yeah, and we did a four round lodge.
What's
That was
the how about we just talk a little bit about lodges, because we've done quite a lot of lodges together, and it's I mean it's one of my most favorite ceremonies to do. What
it's
tell me, what's a
my
sweat lodge
favorite.
and why do you do a sweat lodge?
Okay, so sweat lodge. Sweat lodge is a purification ceremony in the teachings that I had, and it's a purification to surrender anything that no longer serves, or to surrender anything about ourselves, so that we go in as beings that are not yet rebirthed, so to speak.
Yeah,
Okay, so the idea is to go in as we are and come out cleansed and reborn. And we do 4 rounds in the sweat lodge. Um, and each round represents a different, what would you call it? Representation of the medicine wheel. So, but the idea of lodge, so the fire is the masculine, and that's where the ancestors, the grandfathers, are held in the fire. Okay, and we take the ancestors out, you know, it could be 6, could be 8, could be 10, and we bring them in to the center of the lodge, and they are placed in, and what we're doing is bringing the medicine of the masculine into the womb of the feminine to sit and pray and sing and honor the space, honor life, give thanks to all that is that we've journeyed through to that point in time. And then the union of the masculine and feminine, and the sweat and the ceremony all come together so that when we leave lodge, we give thanks down on Mama Earth to be reborn again, you
yeah,
know, and we come in and honor Mama Earth as we come in, as the people that we are, and we come out to be reborn. And the lodge itself, I mean, the heat in the lodge can be gentle, it can be intense, depending on the intention of the lodge, the
yeah.
intention of the prayers. You never know. It's like what does he say, Forrest Gump? He says it's like life's like a box of chocolates. And a lodge is the same. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get in a lodge.
And
Yeah.
how, in the context of like walking a sacred path in life, right?
Mm.
What's the significance of doing sweat lodges, and how often would you do it?
I mean, sweat lodge to me is always about purification. It's always about coming together to pray and to sing and to honor sacred space. And, to me, the ceremony starts like when you get up out of bed that day,
Yeah,
and it starts, and we do sunset. We do usually do lodge around sunset in my teachings, but then we also have done day lodges as well and nighttime lodges. But for specific reasons, we look at going into lodge around sunset. But the whole day is in reverence and in prayer. And how often would we do lodge? It depends, I mean, I've done 18 lodges in 12 days. I've done lodges every full moon, every new moon. It just depends on your intention of why you're doing it. Is it healing? Is it a healing lodge? Is it an earth lodge? Is it a lodge for sisters? Is it a lodge for specifically for someone? So and there's a couple of different ways to make a lodge. And we have in my teachings, I was shown a star lodge and an earth lodge.
yeah.
And an earth lodge is a lot smaller than a star lodge.
So it
So
depends on kind of what's going on in your life and in the community as to how often you would do the lodge and why you would do it and what the intention is, and also it depends on whether or not it's a full moon lodge or a new moon lodge, what the cycle is.
equinox, solstice,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
just yeah, could be anything,
Yeah,
but in that, to me, lodge is I've seen amazing, amazing things happen in lodge,
yeah.
over the 40 years that I've been doing lodges. It's been amazing. Been amazing.
So it's a
Um,
key tool or ceremony in terms of being able to walk a sacred path in life.
I would say it's one of the keys,
Yeah,
yes. One of the main
yeah,
ceremonies,
yeah,
Same with smudging. I believe smudging is one of the strongest ceremonies that we can
yeah.
learn.
And we
Yeah.
know as well, like the research in the benefits of. I mean, I know a sauna is not the same as a lodge, but the research in the benefits of sauna and how saunas have been used in different communities throughout, or societies, communities through history, is now catching up. Like the science is really catching up with the benefits of doing like being in a heat environment. Yeah. So
Mm.
so let's go back to Uncle Joe. So you do the lodge, right? And you camp there. So then what happens after that?
Wow, there were so many things because that's going back a lot of years. Uh, like I said, 12 years going over there 3 to 4 months at a time.
So did you
Um,
stay 3 months that first time?
yeah, we stayed 3 months the first
Yeah,
time.
well,
I can't remember all the things we did. We ate, we created prayer ties, we sat in different ceremonies.
so can I
Just
can I
on,
jump in there? Can I jump in there?
yeah.
Because that's another one. Like so, let's talk about prayer ties. Tell me what's a prayer tie. Why are you doing a prayer tie? And we know we've done lots of prayer ties over the years, haven't we?
We've done lots of prayer ties.
Why do you
Um,
do prayer ties?
Prayer dyes is a pinch of tobacco that we put in a piece of colored cloth, and we have 8 colored pieces of cloth in my teachings. So we have yellow for the east, um, red for the south, black for the west, white for the north, green for Mama Earth, blue for Father Sky. Was it? I get these two mixed up. Purple is for purple is for uh, creator, and then violet is for our highest and our divine. Yeah. So we have the four colors and we tie them in on a piece of string with no knots because we want the energy to flow. It's the same as with the drum. There's no knots in the drum that we weave in my teachings. And energy is about flowing. It's never, we don't want energy to be stuck. We don't want things to be stuck in life because when we hold on to things in life, if things don't flow easily in our lives, then trauma happens and things happen. So what we want to do is we offer prayer ties as offerings.
Yeah.
So we offer prayer ties as giveaway to hold our prayers for when we're maybe doing lodge or when we're doing healing ceremony or when we're doing Sundance or when we're, and when I was doing Vision Quest, in my teachings, we believe that there's 102 spirits in each direction. So you've got to do 108 prayer ties when you're doing your 4-day vision quests or even 1-day vision quests. So 1 day, 2 days, 4 days, so we do the prayer ties. Yeah. Alistair, you still there? Hello? Hello? Can you?
You back?
Yeah, I'm back. Can
Sorry,
you?
lost you for a second. Sorry. So you're really doing prayer ties as a way of like clarifying and setting your intention and your prayers for like strengthening the ceremony, whatever ceremony you're doing.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way of really setting the intention or grounding the intention into the ceremony. And when the ceremony is finished, there's a few ways that you can honor the prayer ties. And one is once you're finished, you can offer them into the fire.
Yeah.
Another way is, I mean, I don't like this way, but they used to say you could put your prayer ties in water, but your cloth and your cotton and all that sort of thing floats away, wherever it goes, it goes. Another one is you can bury it in the earth. So, and then the last one, another one that I really love is you can string it in a tree
Yeah.
and let the winds and the rains take your prayers to wherever they wish to go as they break down over time.
And
So,
what's the significance of offering the prayer ties to the fire?
when we release to the fire, we're releasing the prayer that we've held, and you can either have one prayer for your whole 408, or you can have one prayer for each of the eight and do one prayer for each color, or you can do 408 prayers if you want. To me, I always used to have either one for each color or one for the whole ceremony or the whole stringing of the prayers. Um, and, as you know, we used to string them around the lodge at times.
Yeah.
And we'd string them on poles around the lodge. And every time we sat for lodge, I'd get people to make prayer ties. And we'd string them together and we'd always hang them around the circle of the lodge, and that would be, there could be some there that have been there for a year or two, you
And
know.
it's the same intention of creating sacred space.
Yeah, yeah, it's all about creating sacred space, the opening of the portal, the opening of the intention of what we're sharing. We have
Yeah.
our own individual with prayer ties, but you can also have, when you're sitting in lodge, not only are you holding your own prayer, or if you're sitting in Vision Quest, you have your own prayer, but you also have community or humanity's prayer as well.
Yeah.
And usually the the chief medicine man or the holder of the space or the what we'd say the chief sun dancer or whatever would all set the intentions of what the lodge was about or
Yeah.
what the prayers are what you can have as a communal prayer, you know.
So far you've got the medicine wheel with the four sacred directions, the wheel of life. Um, you've got the importance of smudging and creating safe space and sacred intention. You've got a sweat lodge, which is the renewal ceremony to allow you to release stuff that you've accumulated
Yeah.
and again, like basically be reborn. And prioritized for strengthening intention around ceremony. And then you mentioned the drum. So let's talk about the drum. Why is the drum important, and what's the role of the drum in all of this? And you probably should share that you've been a master drum maker and teacher over like a long time, and there's a lot of people that are now, including myself, that have been taught how to make drums by you and have the benefit of that.
To me, I feel the drum called me home to
Mm,
myself. The drum spoke to me when I first made it. Had no idea what I was doing when I was making it. Had no idea how to play it when I started playing it. Um, and my biggest intention, or the biggest thing I share with people, is when you, and I don't like to say birth a drum. A lot of people say they birth their drums. To me, we're making a drum, we're creating a drum, we're creating a medicine tool that can journey with us for the rest of our lives if we want, And to
yeah.
me, um, when I made my first drum, I didn't really know what I was getting into. But what I did do was sit down by myself and started playing it. And that's what I say to people. Find your own spirit medicine, find your own spirit song, find your own medicine in the drum before you start to play it for others. And to me, the drum is about ceremony, it's about song, it's about celebration. So ceremony, celebration, healing, and then journeying.
Mm,
Okay. And I see a lot of people, as soon as they make drum, first thing they want to do is start playing a drum over someone. You have no idea of the medicine of what the drum is. What's the medicine of the hide? The kangaroo, the goat, the deer, the horse, whatever
yep.
you've used on your drum, and I've seen many different hides used on a drum. So get to know the medicine of your drum before you start to play for anyone else. And to me, the drum has taken me all around the world almost. It's taken me to many, many places. And I have drummed with many, many people over the years. And like I said, I've used it in song and celebration. I've used it in many different ceremonies. I've used it in many journeys, and journeys to me is shamanic journeys or journeys of where does the drum take us, and
Mm,
I can honestly say you've seen me start a drum circle and
yeah.
in that drum circle continue to play the drum while I've journeyed out
Yeah.
and then come back and finish the drumming for those that were laying on the ground in the journey,
Yeah.
and you've seen that. And don't ask me how I've done it. I just know that it's guidance from my teachers, my guides, my
Yeah.
ancestors. Yeah. And
Yeah. That's nice.
you've seen many things.
So I think we're just sort of running out of time for this first
Yeah.
session. So
Can I just say one more
go on.
thing
Sorry, go on.
about the drum?
Yeah, yeah.
Just one more thing. I do want to say I believe that I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for the drum,
Mm,
and the drum saved my life.
why?
It gave me a focus of something that I learnt to really love.
Mm,
because back in my younger years, I felt I didn't have a real purpose of what my life was going to be about. And if you asked me back then, when I started this journey, if if where it was going to take me, I wouldn't know.
Mm.
I really had no idea. I didn't know I'd still be doing it all these years later.
That's so
So
nice.
yeah,
That's the
well,
mystery of the walking the path, though, isn't it? If you're walking a
it's the
sacred path, is being willing
it,
to walk the mystery.
it is willing to walk the mystery of
Mm,
what calls you and what brings you into your purpose,
mm,
whatever your purpose is. And sometimes we
mm,
don't know what our purpose is. It takes a while for us to discover what it is that we truly love to do,
mm,
and sometimes it's just getting up and walking, step by step each day, not really
mm,
knowing sometimes, but trusting in it, totally trusting in it and giving gratitude in it.
mm. Wow, that's
Yeah.
a good stop place to finish this first bit. So we'll continue this discussion, but let's. So now we're going to close space, right?
And I'm going to ask you to close space.
Okay, I'll close space. All right. So I'm just going to light the sage again because it's gone out. So let's just. So as you see, I've just lit the sage. Oh, you're going to light sage as well. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I want to give thanks for the opportunity to come together heart to heart with you in this space. I want to give thanks for the spirits of the different directions, the north, the southeast, and the west, for supporting us in this discussion, allowing us to have this discussion. Now, in closing space, I want to release the spirits that have come here with us, that have traveled with us, and I want to choose to let go of anything that's happened in this space so that we can actually move forwards. Ahoma Tequiasan.
Ahoma Tequiasan.
And that's just don't think I said at the start. So Ahoma Tequiasan is I honor all my relations. So it's honoring
Ahoma.
that, recognizing and honoring that we're interrelated with all beings, and honoring all relations.
Mm. It's a beautiful saying. It's a Lakota saying, Lakota words, but we forget that we are all interrelated.
Mm,
And honoring all our relations, from the great star nation to, Mama Earth and everything that dwells on this earth,
mm,
and everything in between. Yeah.
mm. Thank you. That was really good. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to stop the recording there, and I'll upload this, and we'll have another chat soon of the next part on your journey. So let me just stop the recording. Thank you.